everybody. I am Bree and I'm here with Stefan.
Hey everybody.
We're going to talk about Coven and Crucible.
That's right.
So what is Coven and Crucible?
Coven and Crucible is a tabletop game of modern day witchcraft and magic. It's like magic is real, right? It's like any other skill, like plumbing. Like I know plumbing exists in my house, but if you were to ask me to fix it or do anything with it, I would not be able to. No, exactly, right? So, like the average person walking around the streets of Chicago, they know magic exists. They've heard about it. They've seen it, read about it in the paper, seen it on the news, but they don't know. Like they're not going to see it. They're not going to. The chance of them actually running into it in the daily life, very, very slim.
Very fair.
But that's not who we play. In Coven and Crucible, we play witches, or sometimes we play not witches, but combat characters or things like that. But the idea of the game is that you play a specialist. It's a collaborative storytelling game where you play a specialist. You play with other people who are specialists in their field, and then you all work together to try to accomplish some goal, whether that's just a heist, or whether it's involving yourself in the larger political landscape of the game that has the lore. But the core rulebook, Coven and Crucible, is based in Chicago, so there's not a whole lot of deeper political aspect to that game, but there can be. Which is why we came up with the other two expansions.
That's really cool.
Thank you.
And I really love how you took a place that we all know and just added a bit of magic to it, essentially.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to know more about it. What is a heist like?
So depending on the type of game that the storyteller wants to play or wants to run, or the game the players want to play, you make characters based around that concept. So let's say you wanted to play a group of witches that want to reappropriate artifacts and relocate them to where they should be going. So they could, break into a museum, steal some of these artifacts back and give them back to where the culture they belong to. Things like that. But how that would work is museums know magic exists, so they hire witches to put up wards and protections. And so then would-be thieves need to go and evaluate whether or not they'll be able to bypass some of these wards, what magic would be required, or what skills they would need to kind of get in, get the stuff, and get out. We've had a couple of sessions with our playtest that have been heist sessions, and they've been absolutely amazing. So much fun. It is a lot of fun.
So what kind of system is this? Is this based on D20?
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. It's a unique system that I created myself. It's a 2D12 system, and it's basically, there is a witch's formula, we call it. And it's basically you add three things together. That's going to generate your target number, and then you roll that number or less, so equal to that number or less, on two 12-sided dice. And that tells you whether you succeed or not. Now,
that's really cool.
There's modifiers, of course, like if somebody's opposing you. Like if I'm trying to sneak by somebody, I'll generate my target number, say agility plus athletics plus stealth. That'll give me a target number. Then maybe there's a guard who's extremely perceptive. So then I would subtract what their levels of success on a perception roll would be from my target number. And that's going to give me the modified target number that I have to roll equal to or less than on two 12-sided dice. And if I succeed, then the guard doesn't see me. If I fail, well, that's bad news for me.
It makes it a little more difficult in a different way.
Exactly. We wanted to streamline the mechanics. Like the whole concept of what we're doing here is that because we're starting a backer kit in a few weeks, April 9th, theoretically, tentatively, fingers crossed. April 9th. At the time
of this recording.
Yes, at the time of this recording, April 9th. Where we've streamlined the mechanics. We got a bunch of feedback from a bunch of different players, play testers, and from events that I've run throughout the last few years.
Awesome.
And I've streamlined those mechanics to where now it is a lot easier to get back to the story, the collaborative story, which is what the important mission of our game is.
Right. Okay. And I think you were telling me that's what the backer kit is for, is this new version of the mechanics.
Coven and Crucible Reforged. It's like a second edition. It wasn't originally going to be that, but then we decided, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. And that's exactly what we're doing.
I'm excited. Are these able to be used in Reforged as well?
That's what we're doing. Is one of the things we're talking about is we're going to revamp these expansions as well. For the most part, some of the mechanics, like all the concept and the lore, is all going to stay the same. Some of the traits might be altered slightly to match the new mechanic, but for the most part, they'll be in there as well. They'll still be in there, and like Unbound expands on the world developed here, and this is basically Chicago, gives a little light touch to the rest of the world. This one expands on like the planes of existence, like the astral plane, infernal, fey plane, and the internet. We made the internet its own plane of existence.
That's really fun.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have techno, which is kind of astrally project into the internet and do all sorts of funky stuff. And we created rules based around that. So like time functions differently in the internet. So if you, for every second that, or for every minute that passes in the internet, only 1 second actually passes in the real world.
Ooh.
So if you spend too much time there, you come out and it's really confusing because, you know, you've only, technically you're only out for a few hours, but in the world, in the internet, you've been out for maybe a couple days.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's a lot of fun stuff. Plus, Beyond expanded it even more. Like a lot of the feedback we first started that we got was that people liked playing witches, but they wanted to play something else.
Right.
You know, like one of our scenarios is that all the witches got captured, and so they had to play their familiars for a night. So like, you know, like a cat, or my playtest character's familiar was a sloth, which was a whole lot of fun to roleplay.
That's so fun.
So yeah, right. So they wanted to play something else.
Right.
And so we created Beyond, which allows you to play, it opens up for templates. Like there's vampires, there's Dampier, which are like daywalkers, and there's shifters, which are like were creatures. There's Feyborn, which are half Fey creatures. There's Demon Spawn, which are half demon creatures, and then of course there's ghosts. So
you can come back and haunt somebody.
So death isn't the end. If you die here, you can come back as a ghost and you can play that. So,
I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, actually, in the playtest game that we've just restarted the Chronicle to match everything. I'm playing a ghost. And
that's fun.
Yeah. He's been dead for 157 years. It's amazing. He's a little off, but anyway, that's the idea. So we wanted to get everyone involved playing whatever they wanted, and having a way to incorporate the things that they wanted to do as part of a collaborative group in that goal of collaborative storytelling.
Yeah, that makes sense. So in the idea of collaboration, how does a table run?
You'll have the one storyteller who, you know, obviously you're gonna want to talk to your players and say, hey, this is what I want to do.
Yes.
Players say, this is what I want to play. And then you base, like you make characters. A lot of times people will make characters based on what they really want to do. Like, you know, people like to play hitters, or people like to play, you know, like people who throw fireballs all the time.
Right.
So they play something similar to that. And then then the storyteller will try to make everything work based around that. But that said, all of our books come complete with scenarios. So that way, it'll tell you this scenario is for a certain number of characters at a certain power level, and then it'll give you like the risk, the reward, the goal, the outline, and all that stuff, and then all the NPCs. So technically, you could grab, like, the whole idea was that we have one. Oh, I lost it. One book. Thank you. For one book for everything. So technically, all you would need is the core book. That gives you everything you need: the player stuff, the storyteller stuff, the NPCs, a bunch of lore. And scenarios. So that way you don't have to, you just grab it, read one of the scenarios, and you can start running that night.
That's really cool. So you said they have their own scenarios. Do they also come with the pre-made characters that you can run with?
There are a few pre-generated characters already in there. There's a list of NPCs. There are witch NPCs, so you have a few of the pre-generated characters. And then there's also supernatural creature NPCs, fae, vampires, werewolves,
I love that. I think that helps it for anybody to just come up and start playing.
That's the idea.
Just dive in and explore the world.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly what we want to do.
There's also parts in there to make your own character though.
Oh, yeah, the whole front section is about it. And we've really elaborated on what type of character you want to do, because there's a whole lot of aspects in it that don't get seen. Like here at a convention, it's a lot of fun. People get to try it out, but they don't get to see the whole inside, like how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
So like there's a crafting guide that I made to how to make magic items, potions, magical tattoos, grimoires, things like that.
Gosh.
Yeah, right?
Those are my favorite parts of any tabletop. So.
And so I created the crafting guide so you can do stuff like that, because magical tattoos are awesome, and they're a thing, and they should be a thing.
Yeah.
And there's also things like Materia Magica, which help increase your casting for magic and things based on what you're using. So like material components, essentially.
Yeah.
And then tag locks, which is important. Like you get somebody's hair, you can cast magic on them without having to see them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, there's a whole world about it. And then of course, the political backdrop, the Coven in Crucible is a corporation. It is a a corporation of witches that are like a CEO and a board of directors. The CEO is a member that was on the board of directors that got voted into the CEO position. And then there's the board of directors of one of 9 of all the major witch houses, and then 3 independent witches. And their goal is to advocate for witches.
Yeah.
However, they're a corporation, so they're kind of evil and sinister, and all they care about is money.
Right.
So they're a little dark. I don't want to say evil. I shouldn't say evil because, but they're
Depends on perspective.
It's a perspective, yes. Yes, but then there's the Crucibles, which is the flip side of that. The Crucibles are bastions of neutrality. There are these safe havens for witches that if you are a witch, you can go to one of these places and you can say, I'm a witch, I need a room. And you give them a pentacle, which is our witch currency.
Yeah.
And then they okay, similar, if you're familiar with like the John Wick movies, it's very similar in fashion to those.
Yeah.
So you go and you stay at these crucibles and they're safe. No, it's hospitality.
Yeah.
There's no aggression, no aggressive spellcasting. If you break those rules, you are blacklisted. But only witches are allowed on the grounds. So they are independently owned. You cannot be a member of a witch house or a major witch house that's part of the Coven, and then be a manager of the Crucible, because the Coven and the Crucibles have gone at odds before, because the Coven's like, well, these are all about witches, and they're all over the world, and they make a lot of money, and we like money, and we like to pretend like we look for witches. So we try to get them. And at one point, we established that lore in Unbound. One point, there was a hostile attempt to take over the Crucibles by the Coven, and it did not last. It did not work. And so it was repelled, and ever since then, it's been a sore point between the two.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there's that political backdrop of the world. Plus there's the witch houses.
Yeah.
There can be political strife between those.
Fair.
And then you're in a city which may or may not have representation for that witch house.
Right.
So
I
it's
like
a whole lot of political backdrop to it.
There's a lot of nuance and like intertangling.
Yeah.
And it feels like not societies, but
oh, hello, lights.
hello lights. But it feels like also factions almost. And
Oh,
feels
yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And because you can do all of that stuff, and it depends on what the players want to do. If they want to play a political game, they can.
Yeah.
They want to play a heist. They want to play a bunch of murder hobos. That's totally cool. You want to play a bunch of were-raccoons? Awesome. Let's go ahead. Let's do it. Yeah. There is also a pack of were-raccoons known throughout the city of Chicago. I think they're mentioned in the core book.
Okay.
Yeah, they're ridiculous. They've been, there's a place called the Midnight Market, which is like a flea market for black magic stuff.
Yeah.
But they got kicked out because they were trying to sell like grave dirt, but it wasn't, which is a materia magica, but it was actually just dirt from the ditch outside and old Tostito salsa jars.
No.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, but they drive around in this van. It's an old conversion van with the mural paint on the side, like they see like the wizard with casting the spell.
Yeah.
Except it's not a wizard, it's a giant possum named Randall. And they drive around with a giant possum in the back of their van named Randall.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I like it. The great magical Randall.
It is, right? They kind of worship him. And Randall, nobody knows whether or not he's an actual were-possum or if he's just a possum. A really big possum.
Really big possum,
Yeah.
yes. So you mentioned John Wick.
Yes.
What is your system inspired by?
We did a lot of World of Darkness.
Okay.
And I enjoyed some of the aspects of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked how certain skills would work and how they were ranked. And so that kind of was the inspiration for the design of how these things work. But I wanted it not so much you roll all those dice equal to the dots or whatever.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be simple, not requiring a whole lot of effort. And so that was the inspiration for that. I can speak to that. As far as the motivation for the lore and the system, the story itself, my wife and I were sitting talking and watching. We watched The Last Witch Hunter, and we're like, yeah man, I'd really like to play a game in this world.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, and I'm a forever DM.
Yeah.
So she was like, okay, and then a few weeks later, it was Thanksgiving in 2021, maybe.
Okay.
2020. And anyway, she said, hey, so do you want to take our relationship to the next level? And I'm like, of course, yes.
Okay.
No hesitation. And she's like, do you want to write a TTRPG with me? And I'm like, absolutely. And that's how that started, right? However, what's funny is that she thought it would be easier to create her own system than to try to learn one that was already existing. So that's how this was born.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And like our first I remember it was our first play test. It was just me and her sitting at the dinner table and trying to roll this out and see what happens. And it was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
Speaking of family, your whole family is involved in this.
Yes, exactly. It's I wrote the mechanics. My wife wrote all the lore.
Okay.
Our daughter does all of the art.
I have to say, I love this art. I want to
Isn't
show
it
you
great?
guys. Look at this art. It's so pretty here.
That's our that was one of our favorite images. We chose that for our banner.
Yeah.
So we have this giant banner that has that on it.
I love that.
And then our son helps us with running the Discord and with some of the video editing and stuff like that. So
TTRPG family.
yes, exactly.
I love this.
Right, yeah. 13th Moon Games is our company.
Mm.
Coven and Crucible is our flagship product.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's very awesome.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you think people should know about your game that is a little bit unique or?
Well, I know that people for me, my big draw was that the D12s, no matter what system you use, they don't get a lot of love. Right? And I like D12s. I love D12s. They're nice. They're just really fun to have in your hand and to roll, and they make a nice clunking sound when they hit the table.
Yeah.
So I wanted to develop a system that was based around that. And that's how that started. And I think that's the importance of that, coupled with what we call formula flexibility, because we have all these things, like we have the attributes, we have the skills, and we have the traits.
Yeah.
And then you can combine those in any kind of order to create a target number that would match what you're trying to accomplish in a creative way, trying to think outside the box, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and magic, no spell slots, no mana pool, none of that stuff. Magic is real, but it's fleeting. So like I could say, turn this book to gold for about a minute.
Okay.
And then it would turn back.
Gotcha.
So that's the trade-off. Magic is fleeting.
Okay.
So.
And what is the action economy like in this game?
It is like streamlined. It's going to be familiar if people play D&D.
Okay.
Stuff like that. So you're going to have what you can do in a round. You can move, right?
Yeah.
You can take an action. But we've incorporated, what I love about the new mechanic system is that it's levels based, then category based. So if you have, let's say, if you reach a certain category in that trait, then you unlock certain abilities. Like the first category is I can trade power for precision. Second category is I can every time I take an action with this trait, I can take up to 2 using that trait. The third category is if I have another trait that I have category 3 in as well, I can then take 2 actions, but I can mix and match those 2. So I could take, like, let's say I had melee category 3, or I had hexing category 3. I could have a baseball bat and a hex, and I could hex somebody and then hit them with a baseball bat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So, but you only unlock those abilities when you get to a certain category.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
I am excited to see a lot more about this.
I am too.
And you're working not only with Hedron.
Yes.
We're here at the Hedron booth, by the way. But also Amorize.
Yes.
Where we can, actually here you were running your own campaign.
Yep, I ran a table today, actually.
Yes.
So.
And you can actually possibly be able to run some eventually on Hedron.
Yes, it's going to go on Hedron. That's the idea. So, I'm excited.
Very excited for that one. And where can people find you in general?
13thmoongames.com. It's 13thmoongames.com. Okay. Our Discord is out there. There's a link to our Discord. We have a Patreon as well, because we run once a month on our official Discord. We run a demo game for people that actually never got a chance to.
There you go.
I do that, and then we also have monthly chats for higher Patreons. So ask questions. You have direct contact with us. Plus, we really respond quite quickly on our Discord because we're super excited about the game.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you're really excited to check this out, I know I'm excited to see more about this game. Definitely check out their Discord, check out their backer kit, and maybe ask them questions or get feedback. So very excited to chat with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.